joined by Jay Kutcher from Quebec, freshly into the country music scene after a pretty good French pop career. If maybe we can give a little bit of a background on how long you've been doing this and what you kind of did before and the move into country. Like, how did this all come about for you?
Yeah, that's I'm gonna try to do a long story short.
Sure.
Yeah, man. I did three French album in pop music here in Quebec because I was in the first season of The Voice, La Voix here in Quebec. So I was in the final four. So it went well. It was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after that, I had a lot of songs on radios. I did, like I said, three pop albums. I did a lot of shows with my great friend Marc Dupré, who is really well known here in Quebec. He's a big singer and big songwriter. But you know what? I did a lot of shows, a lot of things here in Quebec, but I was kind of done with pop music. I'm still writing some songs right now in pop music in French, but I had some bad comments about my voice singing in French, and I always had that twang in my voice, and I really want to enjoy that to put that in front of people in my music. So I was kind of searching what I should do with the pandemic and everything, and I had two kids, by the way, during the pandemic, so it kind of changed everything.
Little busy life.
Totally. But I had some time to think at night, with a beer, and I finally find country music. Man, I just completely fell in love with it, and it was the perfect home for my voice. I was singing some Russell Dickerson, Brett Young, Thomas Rhett, and I was man, it's so fun for me. It's kind of easier for me to sing in English than in French. That is kind of weird, but my voice is better in English than in French. I think so. That's why I'm doing country music right now.
Right. Cool. And so I know obviously with you said you had young kids and had to find some time in the evening and you're learning a whole new genre while trying to break into the industry as a whole. I mean, even if you were familiar with some country music, it's very different than pop. I mean, there's a lot of crossover these days, but it is still kind of a different mindset, different, common words. Obviously, country's known for their
Yeah.
common words that are used in a lot of songs, and it's totally different than the pop world. So how much, kind of country music learning did you have to do before going into this? Like, was it a kind of a research project?
Oh yeah, totally, man. Because I don't want to sound like a fake artist or something. I am who I am, and I had to learn. So I did my homeworks, and I went to a lot of country songs, and it was really cool, man. Discovering all those artists, all those great artists like Hardy. I'm a big fan of Hardy's work and Morgan Wallen, of course, but also I'm a big fan of John Morgan, man. John Morgan is a so good songwriter and singer for me, and our voices are kind of similar too. So I kind of enjoy his work. But I didn't mention that before, but I did a kind of country show here in Quebec 10 years ago, and we did some Keith Urban and some things like that, and Garth Brooks and everything, and everybody was telling me, "Man, you should do that. That fits your voice and your style so good." So I already know all those great names in country music like Tim McGraw and everything, Lou Bryan, and all those not older singer because they're kind of young, but Willie Nelson and all those guys. I know a little bit of country music, but now I'm really into it. So it's still a work in process. But I have to say that I didn't want to beginning with writing songs because of that. Because what you mentioned about all those lyrics and all those words that should be used and all those culture behind that. So I really wanted to sing some guys from Nashville. So that's why in my EP that's going to be released on November 27th, I'm singing Chris Stefano, Dylan Scott, Tabe, and Trent Harmon, all those guys in pop country in the US. So the beginning job was that, and working on my English, listening a lot of country songs, and and by the way, I'm just listening some. I'm really into country music right now, and it's been kind of 5 years now. And I'm just listening country music. I'm really fell in love with that style, with that way of living, with all those vibes. And afterwards, I met some great people from Canada, from Toronto, and I worked with Ali Walker and Craig Brooks and Ellie Saunders and all those great singer-songwriters from Canada.
And so I know you've done some trips down to Nashville, which obviously is tough when you've got a young family as well. Do you take them? Do you take them with you when you go down there, or is it no? This is work. Daddy's got to go. I need to focus.
Yeah, totally, man. My wife was cool enough to let me go do my things down there without them, but I miss them a lot. The first travel I did to Nashville, my first son was kind of a 1 year and a half, and so when I came back after 10 days without them, I was kind of, man, it was really really hard. But now I did in Nashville kind of 7 or 8 times. Something like that. And every time we planned that they came with me, but finally, dates are changing, writings or studio sessions are changing dates. So finally, it doesn't work with family. So not yet, but I can't wait, man, to go down there with them.
Right. So when you go down, is it focusing mostly on writing, like making connections? Is it recording? Or do you try to record it in Canada so you get that little maple P there for CanCon?
You know that trick too.
I do.
No, mostly it was for recording with Danik because he really knows well where the traps are for Frenchy people trying to sing in English. So it was really my work when I go down there, of course, for writing songs with Danik and some new friends down there. But most of the time it was for recording songs or redo some vocals to make sure everything is perfectly pronounced or on the songs.
But with you're talking about the pronunciation and stuff, are there certain words, phrases, syllables that you found? Okay, it's gonna have a French accent. I can't do it any other way. Or have you been able to kind of work around all of them?
Oh man, it's still a work in process again. Man, I remember that we did kind of 200 times. I can't, but in France, when I say it, it's different. But I was I can't forget, I can't forget, I can't forget. Not I can, I can't, I can't forget. But the T wasn't enough or too much. Ah man,
Yeah.
it made me totally crazy, man. But yeah.
Have you tried to take any like dialect coaching lessons, or is it all just kind of studio work?
Oh no, I did a lot, and I'm still doing some, English lessons online with a guy from New York, and yeah, it's still a work in process. Again, I know I need to work a lot, and I know I need to talk a lot too, and it's kind of tough. So because here in Quebec, in Montreal especially, there's a lot of English people, but most of the time we talk in French because we are in Quebec, so that's the and because I have young kids, um, my wife and I, we really want to go in the U.S. or in Toronto more often with and spend more times with English people because we love that culture and we love that language. And my girlfriend, she's an actress and she's working in English too. So we need to be more in Toronto, in the US too. But because of the kids, we kind of can't right now.
How are they doing? How are the kids doing with English? Are they kind of pretty good in both, or are they mostly French right now?
Mostly in French, but they're kind of good, man. They knows all the colors and the daycare that we have, where they go, all the all the all the people in that daycare, they talk both languages, so they try to teach all the young kids both languages. So it's really
Right.
cool.
My wife and I are kind of in the reverse. So I don't know. I know like some French words. I can kind of decipher if I'm reading it. If I have to, it'll take me a while, but I can figure it out. My wife took French all through high school, so she's pretty good with it. And
Yeah.
we wanted my son to be able to at least know as much as possible. So he's in an English school, but it's French immersion. So he does everything at school in French.
Wow.
And then he speaks English.
Congrats, man.
Thanks. Yeah, he speaks English at home. It's tough, because he'll bring this French homework home, and I'm like, Google Translate. Google Translate says you're saying this correctly. Okay, cool. Yeah, but it's
I feel
helpful.
you, man. I came from that little town called Saguenay, and it's really far in the north of Quebec. And my parents don't even say a word. They're not able to talk in English. They can understand some words if we are speaking really slowly. But where I came from, nobody talks English. It's everybody is listening to some country music in English, and some English songs are everywhere, man. Everybody's love English songs, but nobody understands a word. That's kind of weird.
It's interesting because there's lots of genres that I find, in like the pop world or the rock world, whatever. They'll go over to like Japan or some other countries where English is not the first language, and they have almost a better career over there than they do in North America. And you always wonder, like, does anybody know the words? Or Korean pop, K-pop is huge right now. And I'm
I
like,
know.
I don't know any of the words, but it's really catchy, and sometimes it doesn't matter, right? It's a feeling, obviously the words can be a big part of it. And in country music, the story and the words are a major part of it. But
Yeah.
sometimes the tone, inflection, and the way, the sincerity in your voice can sometimes get that same feeling across, right?
Yeah, and the melody and the vibe of the song, it's all about that too. Country music is about partying and having a beer. So everybody are understanding what beer means. And so in Saguenay, they all we love beer a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And pick
It's
up
weird
trucks. So
when we go back to those key phrases, right? Oh, so you hear beer. Okay, I know, I get that. I understand.
yeah, that's about beer and pick up truck. I'm in, man. Yeah, bring that song.
Exactly. So you said
Yeah.
that the EP comes out November 27th. How many songs are we expecting on there? And then how many of them are originals? Obviously, we've got, you've released a couple of original songs, but you mentioned there's going to be some covers and stuff on there as well.
Yeah, not covers, but song not released yet, but they were
Okay.
not released yet, but they was offered to me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Um, so 6 songs gonna be on that EP. I wrote 2 songs on that one. One with Ali Walker, I said before. It's called Whiskey Kind of Guy. Again, keyword, but it's really cool. And the parallel was about that too. That I'm not um, a whiskey kind of guy. That in that way that I'm not a super real cowboy in that meaning. But I'm still learning it. But in the text, we finally decided to go in a love story about a guy and a girl in a bar, and the guy said, I'm not usually a whiskey kind of guy, but if it if it let me stay a little longer with you, I'm gonna have maybe 2 or 3 whiskey. So,
Right.
so we played with that. It was cool. And another one that I wrote with Zach, Craig Brooks, Elise Saunders, and David Madros is 1 in a Million. A super good song. I'm really happy we wrote that one. It's for my girlfriend because the chance that I met somebody as special and perfect at her as her is 1 in a million. So
Right.
it's about that.
Nice.
And after that, yeah, 3 of those songs of the 6 songs gonna be on the album. 3 are already released on my Spotify and everything. And it's She Just Wants to Dance is already out. What You Doing Tonight and Another You. But it's gonna be there's gonna be another one called So You Got a Party that we just found. Because I hired someone in the US to find some songs for me, and we found that super nice song of Chris Di Stefano and Dylan Scott. I was man, that's so good. So, and nobody has released it yet. So we asked them and they said, yeah, man, so just do it. So it's called Saw You at a Party. Super good song. So it's going to be really cool, man. I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, Another You, we featured that one earlier this
Well,
year, I
yeah.
think. And then What You Doing Tonight with of course the guy from Rivertown Saints, Chase Kasner. How did you get meet up with him? And is this the only one that you've got another voice on, or is there other duets on the EP?
That's the only duet. And this song was released before. It's the only one. What you doing tonight? And I'm gonna tell you the story because it's kind of fun. You know, when somebody is writing a good song, a lot of people wants it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
So I was in Danny's studio kind of 5 years ago, and he played me "What You Doing Tonight" that he wrote with Kelly Archer and T-Bay. And so I was listening to that song, and I was thinking, man, that song is the that's a friggin' hit, man. It's ridiculous. I love that song. It fits my voice. I want to do it. I just want to do it. But Danik said to me, you know, there's a band named Rivertown Saints that want to put it on their album. So sorry, but we have to wait. And finally, Rivertown Saints released it kind of in 2020, I think, or something, 2021. And I listened to their version, and it was killer, man. It was excellent. I really loved it. And but you know, we were in the process of the EP, and my manager and we were always talking about that song. Man, I need to sing that song. I need to sing that song. And finally, you know, Danik just told us, man, you can do it too. You can do your version. When a song is out, you can always do a cover of it. So I was kind of, yeah, but doesn't make sense because those guys made so good version of it, you know. And I want to acknowledge the fact that they did it before. So we were just chatting about it, and I just said, hey, maybe if I ask the singer of the band and the band, you know, Chase Gessner and the band, if I can do that, and if you want to join me on a version of it, and all the band just said yes instantly. Instantly, it was a very fast, man. They said, "Yeah, man, let's do this." So they came out in Nashville, and we just, you know, recorded that duet version of "What You're Doing Tonight." And the next day, we wrote a song together. So it was really cool,
Nice.
man. Those
Nice.
guys are really nice. Yeah.
So is the rest of the band who plays the music for this one too, or is that some Nashville musicians?
No, Nashville musician, all the, you know, Danik's boys,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm not super familiar with the recording process, but I imagine there's certain producers that have certain musicians that they like to work with, the studio musicians, right? So like, no, I'm working with these guys, you take it or leave it kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's all kind of always like that. You know, Danik is always working with his good buddy of Immersion Drive, Mike Melanson, who is the drummer, a Quebecer too, who is down in Nashville. So they work, you know, in the bass, the drum, and the guitars at first. And after that, Danik is calling a lot of people, but he's kind of always hiring the same people because it works, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had the chance to have Soul Philcuts on that one, man, who is a really good guitarist down there in Nashville. So he's a really good one, a good body too, man. So everybody in Nashville is so cool, man. It's a good city. It's
Yeah.
nice.
I know I'd love to go. I haven't been. We did a contest last year and we sent a winner down there, and I kind of wish I'd gone down because after they came back and we're just like glowing about everything, and I'm like, I gotta go, but it's
Shit.
tough. It's tough, as you know, with family and young kids. It's hard to get away sometimes, right? Unless you can justify it as a work trip, right? So
I feel you
yeah,
totally, man.
yeah. So, curiosity. So, as a solo artist, and now like in the pop world, it's a little bit different because you're not used to seeing the people playing the instruments necessarily on stage, right? Or maybe you
Yeah.
do, but they're way in the background. In country, the music is such a major part of it, and the kind of camaraderie amongst the band. So, as a solo artist, and you've got, you're doing a show, and you might need some musicians. Do you have kind of like a hiring band that you bring with you every time? How do you go about planning the shows for that?
It's an interesting question because I always like to play with live musicians. It's For me, it was a low brainer since the debut of my pop career. I always hired some good friends to play with me. It's not just, players like that. They are friends and they are very good here in Quebec. So I'm playing with the same band. It's been kind of 6 years now, and the interesting part is that they are following me in that journey in country music too. Because my drummer is Luc Catelier, who is the musical director of Taybay too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was already in that vibe, in that country vibe. So and I have one of the best guitarists here in Quebec, all gender. He is absolutely amazing. His name is Jean-François Baudet, GF Baudet. He is a monster at guitar, man, a monster. So it's really cool. And the most important thing for me is vocal, back vocals, and I love country music for that, for all those harmonies, and my brother is in the band for that.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So I call my brother and a super good girl, vocalist. Her name is Marie-Ève Proux. She is on plenty of TV shows and everything. She's playing with Matt Lang too, and so we have a really good blend, the three of us. So we are, and for the release party, we're gonna have a pedal steel too on stage. So for me, I don't love tracks, on the computer. I don't like that. So we're gonna have just a little, but most people are on stage. The more people they are on stage, the more happy I am.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, there's a fair bit of country coming out of Quebec now too, right? It seems to be
Yeah,
on the rise, right? I mean, off the top of my head, Justin Legacy, Blue Ridge Band, Deluxe Rodeo. Is Matt Lang from Quebec? I know he's French. He's from Quebec too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
from Quebec too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you guys are breaking in. It's coming. That's great.
It's totally, man. It's really funny because when I was in my pop career, I met Matt Lang when he was kind of doing his debut in country, and I said to him, "Man, I should sign you. You are so good, man." So I invite him to play in my show, in my friend shows in Quebec,
Right.
and I was telling him, "Buddy, look at that guy. He's gonna blow up soon." And after that, I did my journey in country music in kind of 5 years ago. And I asked Matt, "Are you okay with that, man? Because it's really new for me. I just wanna, I know it's your thing, but I'm really different in my way of doing it, and I just want to do it." And he said, "Man, yes, let's go. Let's doing some country here in Quebec." So since that, there's a lot of people going country here in Quebec, and man, it's cool. I think we needed that because for a certain period of time, the country in Quebec was kind of how can I say that, underground.
Okay.
But we had that big festival called Saint Tite, who is really well known to call to invite some big star like Big and Rich and Tim McGraw and everything. So but now we have two of those big festivals. There's Lasso Montreal now in the game, and even the Festival d'été de Québec bring Luke Combs last year. So yeah, we are in country music here in Quebec right now. Yeah.
Great. So obviously links to everything on your website, jkutcher.com, and album
Yeah.
27th. That'll be out everywhere. I mean, digital download, streaming, I'm assuming on the 27th.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. On the 24th. 24th is gonna
24th.
be yeah. Everybody's gonna be able to listen to the song, but the release party is gonna be on the 27th.
Gotcha. Perfect. And I know you don't have a whole lot up on your tour section yet. What's the plan? I know we're getting close to Christmas, and maybe you obviously you want to do there with the family. But what's 2024 look like? Have you started to plan for shows? Are you hoping to get something? What's it looking like?
Yeah, it's kind of blowing up right now. It's really fun because we didn't announce it yet, but we are obviously planning a tour because when we released, the project in past February, it was kind of new. Everybody was saying to me, "Ah, it's really cool, man. Festivals are was telling me, yeah, it's really cool, but you have only one song, so."
Right. But
What
what
you
else are
gotta,
you gonna play? You do covers the whole time? Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you feel me. So it was about that. So, but right now, the album's gonna be released, so we're gonna have 6 songs on that, and I'm still, writing some songs uh, that they're not gonna be on the first release, but maybe on bonus track in
Sure.
2024. And yeah, we did Saint It, opening act for Matlang, and it helped us a lot. So right now, the phone is ringing for 2024. So we're gonna be doing a lot of festival next summer.
Cool. Well, I look forward to maybe you'll make your way up here sometime into Northern Ontario. It's not, I mean, it's not a close drive from from you in Quebec there, but maybe we'll see you here. And looking forward to the next 3 songs to come out. And jkutcher.com for all of that, right?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a pleasure to go play down there. Yeah, man, I went to North Ontario a lot of times, so yeah, I'm not afraid of driving a lot.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you taking some time today, and excited for the music next week.
Yeah, thanks to you, man. Have a good
All right.
one.